Welcome to ET Studios AI Horizons in association with ETCIO. Now, AI has become mandatory for salaried professionals and individuals who want to advance in their careers. And to enable just that, we have institutions like NIIT that offer you a chance to upskill and skill yourself, and also offer corporates a chance to introduce courses for their employees so they can play catch up with the AI game. To talk about just that, I have with me Mr. Udai Singh, who is the President of Global Products and Solutions at NIIT. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure being with you today.
Thank you for joining us. NIIT is one of the most prestigious institutions we have in the country. And it's interesting to know that you have now rolled out AI courses for corporates, and not just that, you also make sure they can use it in a sustained manner by introducing a course such as 100 Days of AI.
Absolutely. So it's interesting that the program is called AI Horizons. And one of the things that is very unique about AI as a technology, and there are a few sort of precedents to it, is the fact that it's a horizontal technology. It has the potential to impact almost every facet of our lives, the work we do, entertainment, and so on and so forth. So when we thought about how AI is going to be used and what are the skills people will need, of course, the more obvious answers is people who are going to work on AI-specific solutions, AI technologies, and the whole area of AI and machine learning. And typically people start off their careers either from an engineering background. So one of the options at the entry level they consider as being an AI ML engineer, for example. Or if they're coming from the data side of it, data analytics or a data analyst, or in some cases a junior data scientist. So we design programs specifically to help people, prepare for these roles. But stepping back from that, we also realized that AI as an important digital skill is something that everyone needs at the workplace. And so last year, one of the important decisions that we took was to make sure that no matter which of our programs people do, from something such as digital marketing on the one hand, to software engineering on the other hand, or infrastructure management or cybersecurity, each of our programs would have a dose of AI, and particularly generative AI, which is a very exciting part of AI, so that they would have the required skills to be able to do their tasks effectively. And if you have such a powerful technology available, then why not use it? And India has a unique opportunity to be at the forefront, because the Indian IT services ecosystem is not just catering to India, but primarily, and I think in a larger sense, the global requirements. And therefore, NIIT has been, absolutely an anchor in that ecosystem, equipping people with the right skills.
When it comes to corporates and employees there's a rapid adoption of AI so as to not be left behind, but also a lot of times people abandon that halfway, right? Because they don't understand how they can deploy it in the long term. How does NIIT facilitate a sustained adoption of AI?
That's very insightful. Of course, when something as exciting as this happens, and there's a lot of articles and news about it, everyone out of their initial curiosity would like to try it out. And that's why products such as ChatGPT from OpenAI received the huge interest that they got immediately after launch, the fastest to reach 100 million users. And we thought that, does NIIT really have a role to play if the technology is so well known and people are able to use it? And so a year ago, we decided that we'd have an open dialogue with CEOs and CXOs from our customer organizations and organizations that we cater to. And one of the insights that we got from those conversations was that in spite of all the interest, the actual usage, particularly amongst end users on a day-to-day basis, was rather low. And it wasn't, because they were not aware, but they hadn't quite figured out how to use it and make it a part of their daily work routine. And so that got us thinking, saying, is there a way that we could help organizations, get better at it? And so we came up with a framework for helping organizations embrace and accelerate the adoption of Gen AI. And just to make it more tangible, we said, can we build enough momentum in a period as short as 100 days? So we felt that would capture the interest and imagination. And I'll share more details of how we've set up this journey. But yes, it's a need, and NIIT has responded to that need in conversations with our customers.
NIIT is a very desired campus when it comes to hiring, and I'm sure you see a lot of hiring managers on a regular basis, especially over the last 2 years. What has been the demand for students who know AI or for courses that have AI integration in them? And what are the companies looking for when they're hiring students when it comes to AI?
Sure. So there's an interesting dichotomy over there. Of course, companies would like people to be well-versed, to be aware, and where necessary have the knowledge to use those tools effectively. But we've also seen that companies care about the fact that people should be able to do many of those things on their own. So they do want us to strike the right balance. For example, these days there's a lot of debate whether do you really need to know programming, and is English going to be the new programming, language? But in our conversations with customers for whom this is a business, they really do want their entry-level people to have the programming skills, and on top of that, have the ability to use AI.
All right. Now there was a new study, sir, that you'd mentioned during our conversation earlier, the Gartner study on the hype cycle of AI. What were its findings?
So, Gartner basically tracks new technologies as they come into the market, and the ups and downs that they go through before they become mainstream and fully deployed. And what they've observed over the years is that certain technologies really capture the imagination, and a lot of interest is generated. But along with that interest, perhaps the expectations seem to go ahead of what the technology is actually able to deliver. And so that's what they refer to as the peak of inflated expectations. And then technologies go through a period where they are not necessarily able to match up to all the expectations that are there. And that's the slope of, disillusionment, so to say. But I don't want, viewers to get the wrong idea of what disillusionment means over there. It just means that the gap between expectations and what the technology is able to deliver, that gets narrowed down. And people then realize what the technology can actually do, what more work or R&D is required to make it do some of the things that were promised or visualized, but it isn't mature enough to do it. So in many ways, the real work of maturing the technology, adopting it, happens during this phase, which is the downward slope. And that, for certain technologies that manage to cross that slope, results in a peaking and a plateau where the technology becomes mainstream and is used. So I think that's the very interesting phase that we are reaching with generative AI, that a lot of obviously investment has gone into the technology, and hopefully that investment will be used to sort out problems, to address some of the issues and concerns, whether they're to do with privacy, whether they're to do with this concept of hallucinations, where generative AI can sometimes cook up stories or facts. So all of these issues hopefully will get systematically addressed. And I think the message from our side is that this is a great time to actually learn about the technology, become skilled, and specifically use it for day-to-day personal productivity, even as the more sophisticated use cases require features that hopefully will come down the line.
You've been with NIIT for about 35 years, sir. Has there ever been a trend in education as big as AI in the past? What have you seen so far?
So let me say that, when I joined NIIT way back in 1990, we were really excited about how computers could not just be used to learn, about programming and computers, but could actually facilitate the learning process. And so NIIT has always been at the intersection of technology and education. And one of the things that we pride ourselves is on really getting to the root of how people learn, what is the science behind learning, and how can technology help accelerate the process of learning. So I would say that AI in some ways reminds us of that excitement that was there in the late 80s and early 90s, where IT as a horizontal technology was getting adopted. But I must also say that every time we think a technology will solve, all the learning problems, we also realize that's not entirely true. So the science of learning is also evolving. How we should design learning material is benefiting from that. But AI certainly is very, very exciting. And one of the things it promises is this addressing this gap of gurus. We all would love to learn one-on-one from somebody who's knowledgeable, but we know how difficult that is. And which is why then, children or people in college end up in classes with, 50 or 100 people being taught by a single person. AI promises to augment the human gurus with AI mentors, which can provide more personalized support to individuals. So that's one of the exciting things to look for in the area of learning and education.
Absolutely. Sir, thank you so much. I think now we've covered all the aspects of AI at NIIT, the courses that you offer, and also how you are using it at your institute. It's been very interesting to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. And remember to stay tuned to ET Studios AI Horizons in association with ETCIO for more such insightful conversations.